Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Mech Merlin stream. I know I haven't really had a stream this entire week, mainly because I've been slammed at work. So thanks everyone for joining in. Let's see, I see an Aaron will no scope you. I see Keebs, Alejo, Digital FXXX for subscribing for Prime, 8 months. Thank you so much. Who else do I see? I see a Alejo and Dark Action YT. A couple other people here, and Not Panos and Icy Keebs. Thanks guys for joining in. But today we are doing the Bakeneko. If you guys caught my unboxing stream, that was like 2 or 3 months ago at this point. But when I unboxed it, I could not build it because I was missing a PCB and a daughter board. So finally, Cannonkeys sent me a PCB, but he didn't send me a daughter board. So I was like, oh no. But thankfully, I did buy like 10 daughter boards over the last couple of months. So, we can actually build it today. Let's do some lubrication. It's on. Oh, okay. Yep. I remember my first impression of it when I first saw it was that it seemed too expensive, like a $500 for a board of that caliber. I was like, maybe if it was 300. So not a like it does look pretty, but I don't know if that's enough to justify the $500 price tag. I mean, gasket and the cheaper boards, it's possible. All your most recent group buys have been below 200. It's pretty good. Yeah, like as this hobby gets more expensive, I feel like the bottom end also starts to increase, which is a good thing, you know? Not everyone can afford to spend like 500 bucks, and in fact, in some countries, 500 bucks is like what the average person would earn in a month, or maybe a month and a half, 2 months, right? Like imagine something like what's the latest 500 board that finished group buy? Like what, Tomo or something? Like what kind of people would be able to buy that? Razer and Corsair doing gaskets? Possibly. With Keychron doing it, it just shows that it's not really that far-fetched. Dark Action says Merlin is avoiding my question because he wants less competition. What is your question anyway? I don't even know what your question is. Would you mind repeating it? What are your thoughts on the Cloudline and are you going for it? The Cloudline, that's a TKL from Cannonkeys that I actually got to play with when I was at the Seattle meetup. As you know, I'm not much of a TKL fan, so am I going for it? No, I'm not. In terms of how it looked pretty good actually. Just because like Durock V2s are great and all, but I'm noticing that especially for the spacebar wire, you need to be really careful. Like what I usually do is I make all my purchases off of Divinikey. I buy, 6.25U stabs, I buy 2U stabs, and then I buy a bunch of extra 6.25U stabs, and then I just compare them to see which one looks straighter. Jagify, you missed an entire conversation about this. I feel like I talked about this like 20 minutes ago. But in general, you do not need to relube it unless, in my experience, unless you've traveled with it and things have changed or you've transported it. There we go. All right. All right, let's test out these stabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, that does feel extremely tactile. I usually combine the two. I use 205 on the housing, but dielectric on the wire. All right. The keycaps I'm planning for this build are actually ePBT ABS Dolch that I picked up also from Divinikey. There, check that out. Or actually, it's not really Dolch, it's the Sky Dolch. Sky Dolch. Why Sky Dolch instead of something lighter? I've noticed that I don't like Dolch on darker colored boards, but I do seem to like the aesthetic when it's on lighter colored boards. Damn, that sounds pretty good, and that actually feels good. I like that tactility. Let's see how it feels once I put that O-ring on. That's good too. Feels good. I don't hear any rattle either. Okay. Yeah, not bad. Skrill says, yeah, too bad they're not compatible with lots of stuff. If you use standard layout TKL, standard layout 60s, or I guess not really standard layout, but if you use 60s, you're fine. If you use like 65s and 75s, then you have to be creative in your key mapping. Yep, that's good. That's good, okay. Guess I can put the rest of the caps on. Or the rest of the switches on. Wow, that's tight. Yeah, like right now, I just buy ePBT sets, just because like the price to performance ratio is so much higher. You've been impressed with Divinikey. Yeah, I would love to try some Divinikey. Just haven't been able to find any that are in stock. By the way, I see you use standard layout 60 compared with Sangan. Is it because of aesthetics or a usage reason? It's because this is what Cannonkeys sent me, pretty much. So I am limited to whatever they have decided to send me. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Bakeneko, their hot swap only comes in standard layout. Let me look that up. Is it only in standard layout? Yep, it's only in standard layout. But I suppose since the Bakeneko is a standard 60-ish board, you could find other PCBs, maybe? All right, let's put the rest of these Neopolitans in. Super curious. But yeah, in terms of specific layouts, I typically like to have a very standard layout looking 60, but I do want to split my right shift. That's really like the only thing that differs in terms of my preferred layout when it comes to 60s. I think what happened there was like back in the day when I first started this hobby, finding keycaps was like a mess. You could not find something that fit whatever layout that you wanted. The layout that I started off with was what the Philco mini law layout was like, you know? But I couldn't find keycaps to accommodate that form factor. So I ended up going with standard for a while, and then it just shifted to using, you know, split right shift. You would recommend Divinikey SA key sets? I dislike SA with a passion. Do not like it at all. It's very difficult for me to type on. If I can avoid it, I avoid it. All right, let's test this guy out. Testing. Make sure everything's good. Okay. Let me grab a keyboard here. Just grab a keyboard really quick so I can open up VIA. Open up VIA. There we go. Okay. VIA's open. Okay, key tester mode, show matrix. Uh-oh. Got one guy that I probably bent the leg on. That guy was... Nope, I got it. Maybe I probably just missed it. Probably just missed it earlier. No biggie. No biggie. Okay, perfect. I can screw this in now. Perfect. There we go. I got a white one. Let's see. During my unboxing, I did mention that the board's finishing looked really cheap. I still think it looks cheap, unfortunately. It is what it is. You know what? I'm gonna have to take out this cable first. Whew. Actually, let's take it out of the top here. There we go. Okay. This doesn't go in as easily as my Phantom 65. Let's see. Let's see if the build guide has any tips. Ah, okay. Okay, I just have to put a little bit more elbow grease in, I guess. Be super tight. Wow, that's extremely tactile. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen is I'm gonna type on this for a bit, and then I'll get tired after like 20 minutes or so. C Mitch says, I wish it allowed for Sangan bottom row without losing hot swap. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like the only way you can do that is if you did the soldered variant. But then again, with the soldered variant, you could always go for mill maxing. There we go. It's a fairly loud board here. Let me let's see. Let's turn off some of my tunes here. Turn off the tunes. There we go. Let's turn off crisp. Let's do a quick typing test here. I wish they made a soldered version as an option too now as an extra, but as I said, not as if it will matter as it is out of my range. Ah, okay. Tiny says, I found your YouTube. Awesome. Any reason to not mill-max? Okay, so depending on the mill-max that you choose, some of the sockets are longer. And if you happen to pick a board that's got like, you know, a very, very shallow bottom case portion, you could end up just shorting your entire board. How am I liking the switches? Okay, so first and foremost, I am not a tactile user. So it's like I used to be a tactile user, now not so much. But here, let's do this. Let me do a quick typing test. Okay, this is probably the most tactile switch I've ever tried. This is more tactile than a Zelio V2, more tactile than a Holy Panda, and I'd say it's borderline SKCM Alps Brown. Pretty much just like what the Zykos was trying to be. This it sounds good, it feels good for a while, but I noticed close to the end there, I was already starting to like experience fatigue. So I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's probably not a switch I would use for a while. Here, let's try it again. I'm probably gonna be tired this time. I'm tired. Whew. Yeah, I think I would probably use different switches. Like it's very tactile, so I'm sure there are people out there who prefer this feel, who prefer this degree of tactility, but for me this is just a little too much. It's a little too much. Maybe like, okay, so I am a programmer as my day job, so it's not like I type like this day in, day out. Sometimes I just type like a sentence or like, you know, a line of code and I'm done. So I could use this for work, but if I'm typing a novel, if I'm trying to, you know, type someone's dictation, then yeah, this is not the board for me. Probably not even when I don't know, I guess if I'm typing an email to someone, probably not as well. So I use Neopolitans because Cannonkeys sent them to me and he wanted me to build it like that, but I feel like because of those switches, I can't give a very accurate take of how I feel about the Bakeneko because I'm so focused on how the switches made it feel. So I'm sure it's still a good board. I've seen a bunch of typing sounds. I've seen people's reviews on it. Like, I'm sure it's a good board. I just can't experience it for myself quite yet. I may replace these switches with something linear or with something less tactile, but the way it is built right now will not be its final incarnation. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll put these Neopolitans on something else. We'll see here. I can't give a good take on it just because I don't like the switches. Here, maybe if I type on it a little bit more. Like I can definitely feel the PCB and the plate flex, so that's a good thing. It's not as stiff as a tray mount. It's definitely better than a tray mount even in its current configuration. But I know, I'm just not happy with how this turned out. Yeah, honestly, the only thing I enjoy about this board in its current configuration is the sound, but how it feels, simply because of the switches, I just don't like it. It's too harsh on me. It's too harsh on my delicate fingers. Linear gang, yeah, I know. Definitely linear gang. But I do appreciate a good Holy Panda board. I do appreciate a good Zelio V2 board, but anything more tactile than those, such as this, too much. It's too much. Comrade says, couldn't type on your pandas for too long either. Yeah. I guess it's preference thing. I will be rebuilding this board in the near future. I do need to find non-screw-in stabs at some point. I'll have to dig through my box of old cherry stabs, and I'm going to go for something either less tactile or something that's linear. Anyway, it is 3:30, so thank you everyone for joining in, especially those of you who joined in at the very beginning. My next stream will be tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. PDT, same time as always, not like last week. I'll be talking about all of the mechanical keyboard group buy news that are occurring for the following week. So if that's the kind of info that you are interested in, please join in at that time, and you'll get a chance to see this board again. Whether or not I will have it rebuilt remains to be seen. I don't have much time these days, but we'll see. We'll see. If I really don't like typing on it, which I suspect I won't, I may just rebuild it. We'll see. We'll see. So thanks guys for joining in. Have a good rest of your Saturday. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Goodbye.